speeding motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod at large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod. She's my hot rod.
The car show, or what about the car show you went last year? Where is that going to be this year? This guy knows. And if he doesn't know, he knows how to find out. This is the guy. He's the guru of the car shows. We actually met a long time ago at a show in Calumet Harley, which was a benefit for the
Operation Combat Bike Saver.
That's it. Operation Combat Bike Saver. These guys build motorcycles for veterans.
That's right.
Some disabled too.
Everyone involved with the program with Operation Combat Bike Saver is either a first responder or war veteran, and they're a program put together by a local guy who is also a veteran. And the whole idea is that they want to give these guys something to do and an outreach program basically for guys who have PTSD and anything else, any other disabilities, mental disabilities, physical disabilities. And they're building these bikes together just to have a group of a brotherhood, basically, to get together.
That's one of the best causes out there. We'll get deeper into that in just a minute, because PTSD is one of my pet peeves. That's been around since the wars were ever fought. And nobody really seems to remember. They used to call that shell shock. Now it's PTSD, and it's the same thing. It's not good, and they all need our help, and why not? They helped us. Let's help them. Region Rides magazine, Mark. This is so cool. This magazine has got articles and stuff about different hot rods and all the different things that are going on, plus all the shows, and it's a monthly magazine.
That's right.
And it's absolutely outstanding. How did you start this? Where did this all come from?
Well, it's a little bit of a story. Ever since I was a kid, I was reading car magazines. It's probably from about 10 or 11 when you first discover those car magazines.
Oh yeah, Hot Rod, cartoons.
Hot Rod, Carcraft, Super Chevy. When I was a little kid, it all started out with Hot Wheels, of course. You're playing with Hot Wheels. You're watching TV shows like Dukes of Hazzard. Watching that General Lee fly through the air, thinking it's basically invincible. Seeing movies like Smokey and the Bandit and Back to the Future.
Cool.
Just those great old Americana car movies, And I was always kind of into cars when I was a kid. When I was 14, 15 years old, I told my dad I wanted to buy a car. I says, I want to buy an old car. We were going to fix it up. And he goes, well, if you're going to do that, you're going to need to get a job. You're going to need to do something to be able to support that.
Exactly, the do-re-mi.
Exactly. So I started cutting grass when I was 14 years old and pushing a lawnmower around the neighborhoods, and it was $20 a yard, and I saved that money. And before I even had a driver's license, I bought a 1966 Impala from a guy in Crown Point. And I couldn't even drive it. I couldn't drive it by myself because I had to have a passenger, a legal licensed driver with me. And so we drove it home from Crown Point, and we actually took it through Whiting Park. And I was going through the park, and I had had it for maybe 2-3 weeks. And we went over one of those speed bumps, and there was this big giant clump we heard, okay? I thought, oh, okay, uh-oh. We get it home, we look underneath the car, and the driver's side frame rail had snapped in half.
Ouch.
Yeah. So my dad has always been kind of an idea guy. Like, he's always like, well, let's figure this out. We'll figure out how we're going to fix this. And if you know anything about Whiting, the houses are all real close together. The garages are real small. We had a one-car garage that he had his van in. And so Dad's like, well, maybe we can do this in the garage and see what we can do. And we actually lifted the body off of the frame in a one-car garage with hand tools and 4x4s and cinder blocks, and just lifted that body right up off the frame.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was the start of our adventure of the Impala.
Baptism by fire.
Exactly, because it was a case of, well, we might as well do this. We might as well, we were just gonna paint it, fix up the engine, and get it running, and make it just kind of a cool cruiser.
Your first car repair experience wasn't like a brake job. It was a cracked frame.
It was a cracked frame, exactly.
Holy cow, that's heavy duty. Let me tell you. So Region Rides.
Yeah.
When did you actually start this?
Region Rise, I was working, I've been a graphic designer for 15 years. And
You go to school for that, right?
I did. I went to the American Academy of Art in Chicago.
Ah.
And I got a 2-year degree. I've been working at various places. I worked at Horseshoe Casino for a few years. I worked at the Times in Munster for a few years. I worked at a advertising agency in Hobart. But I was doing some freelance on the side, and I was working with another guy who had another publication. And he said, if you ever had any ideas, let me know. And kind of the idea was always in the back of my mind. But I happened to see a video one night on YouTube of Hot Rod Magazine. They were doing a behind-the-scenes tour of the magazine. Like, this is how we do it. This is how we put it together. And I saw David Freiberger, and he was showing everybody. He says, oh, this is how I lay out the magazine. And I thought, well, that's exactly what I do. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if we did a magazine that was a local magazine that was just about the region? Just region guys. Because the thing is, you see in like the big publications nationwide, you see guys you get excited when you see people from Indianapolis.
Oh,
you know, like, oh, cool, he's from Chicago. Oh, but you never really see anybody from, Munster, Whiting, Highland, in those big magazines.
No, that's true. And I got to tell you that when he talks about the region, he's talking about a 3-state region. This magazine has circulation in Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan.
That's right.
So it's covering a lot of bases here.
We started in 2013. I had a business partner, and we started out small. We were just going to do a seasonal publication. And as of this year, we're now a 12-month year-round publication. So we're going to be going January to January. I mean, it's year-round now.
That's perfect. And,
Yep.
and it's a great, I'll tell you what, you can find this anywhere. It's actually a free magazine, and you can find it when you walk into a restaurant or you walk into the library. Anybody's got these. Everybody has these free magazines. This one is all about cars and the region. And when I say region, I'm talking 3 states. We're not talking Hammond. We're talking the region. And
we wanted the magazine too to encompass what the region is. If you go to any car show, there's going to be hot rods, there's going to be modern day hot rods, there's going to be old school muscle cars, there's going to be lowriders, there's trucks, there's bikes, everything you can think of. And we just kind of wanted to encompass what the region is of this, conglomerate of different types of people and different types of organizations. This last month, January's,
you feature a guy right here from Munster.
That's right.
That does the pinstriping, and he's been a guest on this show many times. Is John Hogeveen, or we call him, as we lovingly call him, Hoagie. He pinstripes the cars. He drew the car guy on the scooter. He drew the car guy in the motorboat with T-Rex towing behind. I mean, he's a talented individual. He really is. He's amazing. And you did a nice article on him. And there's also an article in there about the Monster. Yep. The Monster store out there in Crete.
That's right.
That guy's been on the show before.
Okay. Kevin.
Yep. And this is how we're going to spend our summer, guys. Let's go to the car phone real quick. We take these car phones seriously. Hey, you're on with the car guy. What can I do for you, pal?
Hey, hello. Good morning, George. This is Randy. Randy calling from Munster.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
I'm okay. I have brakes on my car, thanks to you.
You know what?
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah, buddy.
I got a question for you. I'm going to buy a car this year, and I'm doing all my online research and whatnot, and I'm going to go with probably a compact or a subcompact, sort of leaning toward a Kia Rio. But I've noticed that nowadays the clearance between the undercarriage and the pavement is getting shorter and shorter.
You're exactly right. And with today's potholes and everything that's out there, you might want to rethink a little bit.
Well, my question is let's say I'm coming home from work, and it's the middle of January, and I got 1.5 feet of snow in the alley. Is that going to damage the undercarriage of my new vehicle? No. Or are they a little bit more indestructible than they used to be?
Oh, they're much safer than they used to be and much sturdier. But that 1.5 feet of snow is not going to do it any good for sure. And you could end up getting stuck because you have a drag, the body is dragging on the snow as well as the tires trying to plow through it. That, you know, if they're not going to plow your alley, I'm not a big fan of the lower sitting cars. I'm really not. I don't like, simply because, and Randy, you know our roads in this area. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. There's potholes everywhere. The railroad tracks are never in repair. And if they are, it's only for 1 year. You know what I'm saying? I think you want something just a little. I went with an SUV the last time, and I was pretty happy with it. And they make some subcompact SUVs that you can get into. Kia does, so does Hyundai. If you're a big fan of the Kia and the Hyundai, that's going to be the way to fly. Did I lose you?
Well,
there he is.
Because you got front wheel drive, so you're going to be able to plow through snow. But why are they designing them like this to make them lower to the ground?
Less coefficient of friction, better gas mileage, less air resistance. Yeah, that's just, it's crazy, but it sounds crazy. But why do you think they did away with the spare tires? Why do you think they made the bumpers out of aluminum and plastic? Because they weigh less. Everything is about weight and aerodynamics now.
I got you. I'm
going to tell you, I don't think you could go wrong looking. If you're going to look at Kia and Hyundai, those cars at one time when they first came out were throwaways, and now they're some of the top of the line automobiles on the road today. You're going to be fine looking at those.
Because I've been doing all the internet research and whatnot and everything, and of course, price is paramount on my part.
I don't blame you. It's paramount with everybody, Randy. That's just how it is.
Yeah, because the clunker. I've been financing your vacation home in the Bahamas for the last couple of years.
I know how that happens. I understand.
But do you think it would it would be a problem? My basic question is: are the underbellies of the cars, are they all exposed with all the wires and cables like they used to be, or are they more sealed up nowadays?
Everything is pretty much put away, so it's not that bad, and it's really pretty good. It's not bad at all, and of course the exhaust systems now are made of a form of stainless. That's
of course, of course you got your muffler and your muffler and your catalytic converter and whatnot.
Yeah, you know what though, Randy? You know what you got to do? If you really want to buy a new car, you got to go sit in one. It's good to check on the internet, but I got to sit in the car before I buy it. I want to make sure I'm feeling comfortable, and you got to because you're going to be stuck with this car for 4 or 5 years. So you may as well feel the groove. Right. You know what I mean, man? You got to feel the groove.
I'm going to be buying it in the winter, late this year or early next year.
Well, you know what? Wait for the auto show and go sit in all of them. That's February.
I don't want to go to the auto show. If I go to the auto show, I'll come out crying like a baby. I'll be wanting the Dodge Challenger, and I'm going to have to buy a Kia Rio. You know,
you want the 700 horsepower Hellcat. I hear you, buddy.
Well, Randy, those days are long gone, George.
We're right up against the break.
Those days are long gone.
Yeah, I hear you. Me too. We're right up against the break. I want to thank you for calling, and do yourself a favor though, and go out and at least sit in these cars and check them out.
Okay, thank you, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for calling.
We cover 3 states, about what did I say? 10 counties. About 10 counties. We print 10,000 magazines a month.
Unbelievable, 10 counties. And now you're going to be able to pick them up at WHFB, WIMS, Unlimited Service Automotive in Lansing. That's my place, the corner of Ridge and Burnham. And I'm going to drop some off at my barber down the street because he is a hot rod nut.
That sounds good.
He loves rides. Kent the barber on Ridge Road in Lansing. That guy loves his hot rods. And he's going to, when he saw the Region Rides magazine, he said, "Can I keep this?" I said, "Well, yeah, it says free on it, Kent." He goes, "Can I get some?" Because he's got guys that come in there. That's an old-time barbershop. It's a guy's thing, you know.
Yeah.
He still uses that witch hazel on you or whatever when he's done. That stuff that makes you smell good. Oh, I love it. So you're everywhere.
That's right.
You're everywhere.
Yeah.
I looked at this list, and there's got to be, 200 places that you have these things?
It's pretty close, yeah.
Unbelievable.
We have a small force of about 3 of us who do the distribution. 3-4 people who run all over Illinois, Indiana, and then also there's a couple of guys who've helped us out who go from Hammond all the way up to Whiting and back, and then I've got a guy who goes down southern, down south of 30, and then somebody who covers the Michiana territory.
Wow,
Yep.
That's unbelievable. Hopefully we're going to make that even bigger up there in the Michiana territory, because this radio station and the one up in St. Joe, these are car-oriented people. This whole area, the listeners are car-oriented.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, I get calls all the time. I get people stop in my shop. George, when's the next cruise night here in Lansing? Heck, I don't know.
When do you think cruise night actually starts? Is that April?
I thought so.
I think April, because usually what we do in the magazine in the summertime is have a calendar midway through the magazine, so that if anybody wants to tear it out and hang it up, so that way we list every cruise night in the area.
Well, the guy you want to get in touch with is that Norb from Whiting.
Okay.
The Whiting cruise night.
The Whiting cruise night
is like the top of the line.
We did a feature on that cruise night last summer.
They actually have speakers.
Yep.
In the tops of the buildings on 119th Street that
That's
are
pretty
permanent.
cool. Yep.
And he MCs it. One day when I went there, and he introduced me as the car guy, blah, 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 and he hands me the microphone and says, "Say hello to Whiting." I didn't realize he meant, I'm saying hello to all of Whiting.
The whole town, yep.
Exactly. People at the ballpark could hear me. It was unbelievable. That is such a cool show, and there's plenty of places to eat and drink down there. It's just a great time.
I love growing up there.
Oh, yeah, Whiting's a great place. Norb does a great job.
Yep.
And I'm thinking he starts in April.
Yeah.
Weather permitting.
Weather permitting, yeah. So I think maybe in April we'll probably start putting the calendar back in there. In January, February, it didn't really make much sense to have the calendar in there with, what we're not doing.
Well, no. The calendar, well, here's what's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't wait. Now, the February issue's coming out.
The March issue.
Or the March issue.
Yep.
Okay, the March issue's coming out. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun, Mark. Let me tell you.